like, and subscribe. All right, today is another wonderful day. Just doing a quick live. I'm trying to do like at least every Sunday a live. You know what I mean? So that way, in case any of you guys come on, you got questions. I might not be able to answer right away, but if you are there, if you are here at the end still, and there's a lot of you guys, I will definitely answer the question. The other thing I can do is also, I'm gonna see if I can go back, and I think if I do one on Wednesday or Friday, I'll go back to the questions, and then I'll see if I could bring them up and answer them, whatever. But either way, like and subscribe. This is Levi Apparel. Um, I'm gonna start considering scheduling the lives. I say consider because when you do lives and there's like a lot of people that's on your live, you have to stop and answer everybody's questions, and sometimes people get upset. So yeah. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? I think today I'm gonna make this about office. Increasing your office. Where do you want to have your office? And should you even get an office? Or what type of business styles do you think is best for you? Right? But office space. I think I'm just gonna make this live about office space. I'm gonna retitle it soon and just call it office space. So when you have an office space, sorry about that. Yeah, when you have an office space, it could be anywhere. But in my opinion, it's crucial to make an office space because at the end of the day, you need a place to sit down, go on the computer, set up artwork, check on what you're doing. And also, the other reason why you want to have an office space, wherever you are, is because it's good for a tax write-off, right? Not tax professional, but I know office spaces is a tax write-off. So you have to consider, where do you want your office space to be? Some people tend to have their office space where like on a second bedroom, like, or on a third bedroom, whatever is available, and that's usually how they work. So they work out of their homes. I think that's one of the most cost-effective thing you could do. The reason why is because when you have an office space that's in your home, that area that you're conducting business is a write-off because your house is considered a business rental for your business because your business operates as its own person. So it's as if somebody is renting the space from your home, right? So with all that said, that's why it's good to have a at-home office space. Now, before we go to the more professional office space setting, so I'm looking outside. Another office space setting you could think of is an at-home shed build, right? You can literally look up the square footage of what's allowed in your city. And typically an office is like a 8x9. That's a typical small office. So if you're doing a teacher game and you have an 8x9 shop, make sure it's a little bit taller than 6.5. I mean, than 6x7, so that way you can have storage, like a little loft section where you can store stuff. You know, like extra clothing or whatever. And in that instance, right, if you were to have a situation like that, you can write off that space because on your property it's considered an office space, right? So that's one thing about an office space that's good. If you're like me, you build a bigger shed, and then you make it tall enough that it's no longer a shed. It's it's it'd be considered a shop, but because you can have people on your property normally when you have a house, right? Especially if it's not business section, that area becomes an office space, right? So when you go to the city to file for your business license or whatever and ask you location, you can put your home. That's if whatever you and your accountant or lawyer or whatever decides to do, right? So you can decide to put it on your property if you want, if you prefer. And once you have it on your property, that's an office space. And the bigger you make it, the more space you have available. But when you go to the city, considered a shop, it will be considered an office space. That's how you categorize it, office space, right? And they don't really have a size limit on what you call office space, just so you know. So in my city, I just found out, yeah, 200 square foot is considered an office space still, right? Also 200 square foot is what's allowed for a 200 square foot or below, right? We'll say 199 square footage, right? Because anything above 200 is considered a permittable structure. Permittable structure, meaning you have to go to your city, your state, town, whatever you call it. That way, other than that, you're not supposed to build any space bigger than that without having a permit, because it's a large structure, and for fire reasons and also other reasons, they want to know what's there. Ultimately, if you do get a permit for whatever you build, because it now becomes part of the property square footage, it gets added onto that. You will get taxed for that square footage every year. So even though you build it for 200, I don't know, even if it costs you $1,000, like you just go and grab yourself a shed, one of those metal sheds that's 200 square foot, and you decide to just go inside of it, put 2x4s, and then whatever, right? Even if you do that because it's bigger, you will be paying a fee every year, which equivalently over time is probably going to be the amount of the shed that you pay for. So it's as if you're buying your shop all over again. So that's why I try to stay smaller than usual, so I can avoid like the permit section. So now my next goal is to just build a small storage shed so I can have space to put my like lawn stuff and other stuff. Now, finding out that my area allows 200 square footage, my goal now is to go on the website, print out that area that states it, hold on to it, And then during that same time, in case I didn't say it before, I'm planning on increasing the shop size, like because right now it's 120 square footage, right? It's a 12 by 10, and that for me is big enough that it fits all my equipment. So yeah, big enough that it fits all my equipment. But the problem I had was the fact that even though it can fit my equipment, come on, man, turn. It can't fit my office. And I need to have an office because I have another YouTube channel that's more religious based, right? CFRB Israel. And in there, what I plan on talking about is just religious stuff, right? Also, while being so that was the part about office. Let me continue on more offices, and then I'll go on a tangent and talk about the other channel soon. So yeah, so with that office being like that, hold on one second. All right, cool. So with the office, oh, the outside window was open. That's why it was so loud. Yeah. So by having an office, by having an office outside of your house is good because you get to improve the office as you want, right? And make changes, make it as big as you want. So that's the key thing about having an office um, outside of your house, but still within your property. So next, we're gonna talk about having an office um, in another building structure, like in an office setting. I had an office at 125 Cambridge Park Drive, right? And my office in Cambridge, Massachusetts, my office, I still kind of do. I have to renew my contract with them, but it is what it is. Um, yeah. So my office was primarily, I think it was like a 13 by 9 or something like that. It was decent size. It fit all my equipment, and I still had room extra to just move around. Plus, at the time, I didn't have as many machines, So yeah, it fit the purpose of what it was supposed to do. So I was happy with it. The issue with having an office rental on a commercial space, the cost, the overhead, these are some things you have to worry about. But the convenience about having an office like that is like it's one of those set it and forget it situation, right? You purchase the space, and let's say if you have 20 machines going at the same time and they use a lot of electricity, you don't have to worry about like the electricity pay, unless you don't have a payment set up where everything is included. I preferred everything included, including what's that thing called, internet. So that was great. That allows you to have space, and yes, that is right. You can write that off because it's you renting an office is a or leasing an office is a write off, right? Now you can have that situation, and also there's different sizes. You can have a big office or a small office, or the next step is a warehouse, right? When you have your warehouse, you can put your office, but you can conduct your business as you want, and now you can have more office space for other people. So having a warehouse is like the top tier of the best solution, right? And I'm gonna go back to property pretty soon because I gotta talk about the channel, the new channel that I started, and yeah, so we're gonna get going. So yeah, so now while you have these abilities, and also understand that space, just the rental of it is a write-off. So you have more than an office space if you do a warehouse. You know what I'm saying? But warehouses normally, so when you do an office, like a regular office, right? You enter into a monthly lease, right? Month to month, and anything happens, you let them know ahead, and then you out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to pay the next month because you were there the previous month, whatever. When you have a warehouse tends to be more of a contract situation that's yearly, or yeah, those are usually yearly, because, and I think it starts between 2 to 3 years or more contract for you to be there. And the reason why is because um, once you lease that office, it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it as long as you're following the rules of whoever owns that building, right? Now, on the other hand, purchasing your own office is a lot different. I mean, your own warehouse is a lot different. If you purchase your own warehouse, you can put your office, you can do all that, and then on top of that, um, and I'll be doing a video on office, because I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about for these content creating for t-shirt channels. So I'm gonna be doing that pretty soon. Also, I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with some of these people, talk to them, because if you have the land space, right? If you have enough space to put like at least a minimum 1 to 2 car garage, like, you can build your own office space. But even better, if you are able to purchase property, which goes into getting your own office space, or purchasing your own office space with the property, that's really cool, and it will help grow your chat. It will help. It will help you, because now you don't have to worry about the overhead as much, because it's your overhead. It's your building. You can do whatever you want with it. You know what I'm saying? Or even you can rent. You can, like, when you own your own space, your own property, your own building structure, like warehouse. You can even split the warehouse in half. Give one half to a shop, and then you keep the other half, right? You can have that shop paying for you and the property, while you just conduct your business as usual, and whatever money you get from that goes towards your overhead fees, um, i.e. property taxes, water, what else? What else is that called? What's that thing called? Water, electricity. Yeah, you have gas. So yeah, so have your own property, your own land, your own space, your own building. That's like the top echelon of being able to call the shots. Because sometimes when you are renting an office space from somebody, or even a factory from somebody, right? Um, it's kind of hard to make changes. It's kind of hard to, like, rent it off, So, and if you decide you don't want to be in that type of business anymore, um, You may have a lease in your hands that you have to find somebody quick so you can get out of your lease. So owning your own property, your own space, right? And I use space because it doesn't have to be a large factory, you know. It could just be like a small section in your house. It could be a room in your house. It could be a basement in your house, a garage. It could be a shop that you create in the backyard, or they prefer shed shop. It could be an office space that you're renting out. It could be a factory space that you have, that you're renting, or it could be your own property that you build your own factory on, where you have your office and everything um, for your company. So yeah, office space is really important. That's something nobody should sleep on. And don't forget, like I said, right now it may be, who knows, in the future it may not be, but right now you can write it off as office. If whatever space you rent, own, you can write as a property space. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as a business space. So yeah, what else? Next is getting your own land and building your own factory. I mean, yeah, your own, creating your own company. There are companies that's out there. What they do is they do the whole metal shed setting, but it's big. Some people create barnuminiums with it, right? By barnuminium, all I mean is like it's the size of a barn, allows you the space of a at least small to big to large barn, but it's just an empty space. They cement the floor, they get the structure ready, and all you see is just metal going up, and then metal sidings all around it, inside, outside, roofing, everything. They set everything up for you. Now you have a hollow space of whatever square footage. That right there is in itself amazing. Here's the other thing you can do with that space. You can section it off, right? Since it already has good foundation, you drill into it, anchor it down, create your own. You can divide the space as you want, as you need, or you can leave it open and section it off, you know? So those are one of the things that you can do. But if, let's say, you're like, you know what, I don't have that type of money to buy the land, um, and what else? Build on it, you know, do that even in my backyard with these companies. Do what I did. I have a video that shows you how I have the space in my backyard. I stayed within the limits that I had allowed to me for my city, and I was able to build my own shop. Right now, if you're not a builder, that's fine. You can actually hire somebody, and with a square footage of 12 by 10, right, 120 square footage, you can actually hire somebody $2,000. They'll build you your own shop. And if you want it to be taller, you can tell them, hey, I want it to be taller, right? May cost you a little bit more, may cost you a little bit less. Who knows? I'm talking like that because different areas will give you different prices and different people give you different prices. So yeah, you could use that to your advantage and just create your own at-home shop, right? There's a lot of convenience about having your own land and creating your shop, whether it's on your property or a commercial space. If you have it on a commercial space, it's even more clutch because people are now allowed to come back and forth, right? And on top of coming in back and forth, um, It's a commercial space, so you can have people invited. You can have multiple amount of people. You can have celebration, this and that, without worrying about somebody calling you, and I mean calling police on you, because it's a commercial space. It's meant for people to be there. Sometimes lots of people to be there. So you know what I mean. But my option was I had it in my house, right? And the reason why I had it in my house, right? I mean, on my house property, is because it's a lot easier for me to wake up and go to my shop, or if I decide to work late night, right? Because I have a couple of jobs lined up, I can go to my shop and then immediately after I'm done, go straight to bed, you know? But there was a land I was looking at in my area, and it was pretty cool. It was about a decent price, and it's literally 1 block away from my house. I was thinking about getting that and building, like, and I already called those people that come in, they do the whole cement flooring, all that, and then they just put the structure on there like the barnuminium, and then bam, there you go, you have office, and then you can choose to put plumbing, electricals, and all that stuff yourself. But it's bare, open, and when you're ready, what you do is you go in. You can have a contractor come in, or you can do it yourself. You just put 2x4s, create walls around, and then just enclose it so the metal doesn't show. And also you put insulation, so now you have a well insulated area. You can apply heat, and there's different type of heating system. I'm also going to mention that pretty soon on my channel, ways that you can heat up your office, your business space, without worrying about freezing and all that stuff, right? Especially if you're in my area, you know. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff we're gonna be talking about. But yeah, so for right now, I want to go back to the fact that my shop. So like I said, if you haven't heard, I'm building a shed right now, and I got videos ready from pouring of cement, getting that ready, from the actual building going up, and then adding ramps and stuff so I can like bring stuff in. Now the reason I'm doing that is because, like I said, I have a lot of space in my backyard, and my lawnmower is just sitting outside exposed to the elements. I have to cover it, you know, but sometimes the wind blows it away as the rain is just hitting the motor. So that's a no-no. And then there's some things outside, like um, I don't know, shovel, rakes, all those things that could be put away neatly in a shed. So the space looks a little bit more livable. Kids can run around, and things are in their place. So that's what I plan on doing, right, soon. But on top of that, I'm considering about adding another extension to my shop, which is why I said I was going to go to the website again and then print out the square footage allowed. So if I add an extension to my shop, it's not going to be more than 200 square foot. It will actually be possibly, because I'm trying to add, let's see, I would love to do a 10 by, no, an 8 by 4, right? Because that's big enough to allow for an office space, chair, a desk, all those things, and I can still have it set up so I can still have storage on top of me too. And then my workout equipment can be in the back. So, because right now, if you measure this car from here all the way back, right? That would be, so the car is a normal car. The inside is usually a 4 foot, right? So 4 foot, like, look, this is 4 foot right here. I'm sitting down, right? and I'm talking to you, I'm driving, right? So my desk space can be at least a 3 footer, right? 3 foot out. With the 3 foot out, I'm looking. I still have room right here. I still have at least a good um, 12 to 13 inches, 12 to 14 inches at least, with the space available, right? So now, having all that space on the side of me available, I can store stuff like my heat, my other screen printing machine, stuff like that. On top of that, I can have space to like, see how I'm sitting now from bottom to top. I say this is about uh, probably about 4 feet high, right, from the bottom of the chair all the way, the car seat all the way up, probably around 4 foot, maybe 3.5 feet high, right? So I got all that space, and if I have a 8 foot high shop, like I'll do it probably a 8 foot high, lean to down to 6, right, on the back, and yeah, lean to down to 6 on the back. Hold on, I'm just looking around. Yeah, down to 6 on the back, and that's still a lot of space because that's an extra 2 foot high, and I'm like around 5'8", you know. So with shoes, I'm like 5'8" and a half. So that's like, I'm just having brainstorm about like the shop. Yeah, so that's more than enough space to have. And then front to back is at least this is like at least a 4 foot length. You know what I'm saying? Where my feet is touching the front of the car all the way to the back of the chair. So I have more than enough space available with something like that as just an office. You know what I'm saying? And if I want, I can even put like a my sublimation machine, or even better, my regular printer. Just have it just sit there, right? Yeah. So, and then for heat, I can have a little heat on the side, and I'd be using the ethanol heat. That's another thing I'm trying to get for the shop for next year. I don't want to deal with propane, because I want the shop to be able to be heated. Um, yeah, I want my shop to be heated without me using so much electricity to heat it up, because I noticed when I was doing that, it really cost a lot of money to heat up the shop. And if I took that money, I invested into one of those heaters, right? If I have one in the shop office and one in the actual shop production section, right? I won't have to worry about heating up the place. And those things last for a couple of hours. I can even come in periodically, just switch it up, heat it, switch it up, heat it. And the amount of liquid I would get would be able to last me basically all year round without even hitting $1,000. So that's going to be the new goal for the shop. And I'm hoping that I do the office. What I wanted to do originally is just open up the shop by creating the extension, pushing it out, push my screen machine out, And by doing that, allowing myself to have um, what's that thing called? Just like a more open square, open floor print. But then I'm like, you know what? The machine is good. Oh, what's going on this thing performance? What's up? I'm talking about offices and like increase and like also what it means to have your own property space, build on it, no overhead fees, and anything you do as far as like expenses is definitely, as of now, who knows in the future, write-offs and check with your tax professional. So yeah, so I finished talking about all that, and now it's talking about like how I wanted to do like a increase in the shop, right? And basically, is building an office that's um, 8 by 4, 4 wide, 8 long, and that gives me enough space to do all that. Now, I've been utilizing my house a lot for electricity. Now, I do have that benefit, but with the shop, um, being outside and kind of having its own identity, I'm considering maybe pulling away from the shop, hooking to the house, unless like I'm using it for like the big machines like a flash dryer, 'cause that takes more power. What else? Flash dryer, maybe some of the heat press. But I realize once I build the office, I can also build an outside extension, and I say extension on purpose because the reason why I'm building it 8 long for the office is so I can just have an office space. But I'll have an extra 2 feet available to me. And with that 2 feet, my goal is to just basically um, continue to build and just have like a back door to it. Yeah, it's probably going to be a 4 by 2 space, right? Um, and the reason why it's going to be a 4, no, I think I'm just going to build it all out, and I'm going to separate it by section, right? And yeah, I'm going to separate it by section. Um, should I put, no, I'm not going to put a back door entrance because my shop is in a wooded area, you know? And because of that, I don't want to have the thought of somebody getting in because let's say they break into my property or something like that and they're just hiding out some shit. I'm going to make the entrance on the inside of the shop, but my plan is to create a door that's a little bit sealed and allow ventilation through the back, i.e. a window in that little area, right? So I'm going to be building, it's going to be kind of contoured, but I want to add an additional 10 by, well, I might as well do a 10 by 5. Yeah, a 10 by 5 spacing for the shop, additional. So 10 by 5 is 50 square footage, right? So 50 square foot added on to the 120 square foot. So that's 170 square footage that I would have available for the shop. Now, I'm going to section that 10 by 5 off to be yeah, I'm going to section it off to be, I'd say a 5 by 8 and a 2x5. So that way I can, in the future, the goal is to purchase generators, right? So gas, like the dual generators, throw them in the shop, put a window there so ventilation can happen, and then just let that thing run, right? So now my shop is going to be off the grid. Why? Because I have generator, right? Anything happens to my house, I can also use that same generator to power the house through the extension cord. So now, by having that available to me, I will now be able to get off the grid and continue myself um, with solar power and generator. And as far as noise, and since it's going to be in the inside of the shop, right, sectioned off with its own ventilation, what's going to happen is this: the noise will not be, I mean, when you have the dual ones, they're already noise reduction, but the is still there, so other people can hear it. Now, if you have it enclosed, right, especially in an insulated area, right, insulated walls, the noise will be muffled. If they hear a hum, it'll be a small hum, and it won't bother nobody. So now I can operate night or day or 24 hours without even worrying about my electricity bill being like extraordinary high, you know? So that's the future for the shop. But currently, right now, I'm building a shed to increase space in my storage space in my property so I can put my own regular stuff in there, lawnmowers and all that. Because last thing I want is to do a video and there's a lawnmower around. You know what I mean? Or even try to put it in my shop. So yeah, that's the goal. And that's what we're gonna be trying to go for as far as like the shop and basically just growing, you know. Like, subscribe. This Levi Apparel. I didn't mean this video to be that long, but you know, it is what it is. Like, subscribe. This Levi Apparel, and we are out. All right. Where is it? Right here.